what does the word boss mean?
Boss is definitely somebody that holds their own, whether it's, I guess, being a boss is like you're holding your own, whether it's
What state are you in?
statistically
What state are you in?
New York.
Okay, so you went to school in this country.
Mm-hmm.
You graduated from high school?
Mm-hmm.
What you're saying isn't a boss. So let's start again. What is a
I don't
boss?
even want to say too much. I don't even want to go there. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to say too much because you're mean. So oh, I don't even know if I should go there. But I feel like a boss is I'm a boss ass bitch. Every time I think about that, I think about that song.
Okay. Don't tell me about what you feel. Tell me about what you know.
I'm sorry, what am I listening to right now? Is she trying to troll him, or is this her just being nervous? Because the way she's conducting herself right now is terrible.
So,
first off, what you're describing, standing up for yourself, that's not a boss.
Yeah, not letting people run all over you.
Let's define words. Words mean stuff, okay?
Mm-hmm.
A boss, a person who's in charge of a worker group or of an organization. Standing up, what you define as a boss is not what a boss is. See, what modern women do, you guys just talk in these grandiose terms. You aggrandize yourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Are you in charge of anybody other than yourself?
Yes.
You have direct reports at your job?
Yes.
You've hired people?
Mm-hmm.
What's your title?
Recruiter.
Okay, recruiters don't have staff necessarily.
Mm-mm.
Right. Do you have staff?
No, but I have dogs. I have things that depend on me, I guess.
All right.
Not a kid, but...
So, man, at 26 years old, you're not a boss of anything.
Right, but myself.
But that doesn't make you a boss chick. You're just a chick.
Not a side chick. That's most definitely not. So you gave me an option whether if I was a boss or a side chick. Definitely not a side chick, though.
Well, you sound crazy to me. I got a corporate job, and I'm a choreographer, and I'm a boss chick, and I'm this and that. I got talents to pay the bills, and I'm such and so forth. Everybody's like, this chick got a bonnet on her head and a mouth and a mind full of marbles.
Do you want to see my?
I don't really. I just said you got a bonnet on your head. You got on Instagram as a boss chick with 11,000 people watching with a bonnet on your head.
Welcome back to the Intercourse Show. I'm your host, Mr. B. We have another exciting show for you today. Today we are discussing a Kevin Samuels interview with a sassy dancer. Apparently there's a young lady who's seeking love. She wants a high-value man, and she called into the Kevin Samuels show to give his advice on how to obtain one of those. And of course, in classic Kevin Samuels way, he tries to level her a little bit. And, the video has gone viral. So let's take a look at it and see, how we're going to react and advise on it. Without any further ado, we'll go ahead and share the video.
You sound crazy to me. I got a corporate job, and I'm a choreographer, and I'm a boss chick, and I'm this and that. I got talents to pay the bills, and I'm such and so forth. Everybody's like, this chick got a bonnet on her head and a mouth and a mind full of marbles.
Do you want to see my?
I don't really. I just said you got a bonnet on your head. You got on Instagram as a boss chick with 11,000 people watching with a bonnet on your head.
Hey guys, welcome to the Raw Media. In today's video, Kevin gives a harsh reality check to a boss chick.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
How old are you?
I am 26.
How old are you? 26?
Yes.
Okay, turn the volume down a little bit on your side.
Okay.
All right, so we're talking about boss chick to side chick. What do we got?
Boss chick.
Uh,
Definitely.
are you a boss chick?
Am I most definitely? Well, I like to think I am.
Okay. Are you single? Are you married?
I'm single,
Any children?
no children.
What makes you a boss chick?
I stand up for myself and what I believe in.
Okay. Let's look at something real. Did you go to college?
No, but I have a corporate position, I guess. So,
I don't know. I don't know what that means. What do you do?
I'm a recruiter for healthcare workers.
You're a recruiter and you didn't go to college?
Yeah, based off experience.
Uh-huh.
Well, I
All right.
definitely started my I worked my way up
All right.
basically.
Well, let's. What does the word boss mean?
Boss is definitely somebody that holds their own, whether it's, I guess, being a boss is like you're holding your own, whether it's
What state are you in?
egotistically.
What state are you in?
New York.
Okay, so you went to school in this country.
Hmm.
You graduated from high school.
Hmm.
What you're saying isn't a boss. So let's start again. What is a
I don't even want
boss?
to say too much because I don't even want to like go there. But like, like I don't know, like I don't know. I don't want to say too much because you're like mean. So I'm like, oh, I don't even know if I should like go there. But I feel like a boss is like, I'm a boss ass bitch. Like every time I think about that, I think about that song.
Okay. Don't tell me about what you feel. Tell me about what you know.
I'm sorry, what am I listening to right now? Is she trying to troll him, or is this her just being nervous? Because the way she's conducting herself right now is terrible.
So
First off, what you're describing, standing up for yourself, that's not a boss.
yeah, not letting people run all over you.
Let's define words. Words mean stuff, okay?
Hmm.
A boss, a person who's in charge of a worker group or of an organization. Standing up, what you define as a boss is not what a boss is. See, what modern women do, you guys just talk in these grandiose terms. You aggrandize yourselves.
Hmm.
Are you in charge of anybody other than yourself?
Yes,
You have direct reports at your job?
yes.
You've hired people?
Hmm.
What's your title?
Recruiter.
Okay, recruiters don't have staff necessarily.
Mm-mm.
Right. Do you have staff?
No, but I have dogs. I have things that depend on me, I guess.
All right.
Not
So
a kid, but
so okay. So uh man, at 26 years old, you're not a boss of anything.
mm, right. But myself,
But that doesn't make you a boss chick. You're just a chick.
not a side chick. That's most definitely not. So you gave me an option whether if I was a boss or a side chick. Definitely
No,
not a
I'm
side chick though.
well, if you call yourself a boss chick, that's not the whole program. Boss chicks become side chicks.
How do you think so?
Look in the paper, look on social media, look look anywhere. Women who talk like you become side chicks.
Really? How do you think so?
Look in the paper. Look on social media. Look, look anywhere. You're talking about 26 years old.
Mm-hmm.
You're a recruiter, if that's what you are. Cool. Didn't go to college. Fine. You have a corporate position. Okay, but that's not boss. At 26 years old in corporate America, you're entry level. Entry level, second step at best.
But I do have a talent. That's something that, whether you want to go there or not, but like I definitely know what
Does it pay your bills?
Absolutely.
Okay, look at okay, I'm gonna go there. Stop talking vague because what I'm getting now for you is cap. At 26 years old and a recruiter, New York City, is that where you live?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have your own place or do you have a roommate?
My own.
Who's in the background?
I have a friend. Like, what the heck?
You have your own place at 26 as a recruiter. What talent do you have that pays money?
What talent
Yeah, you said you have a talent.
do I have to pay?
You said I have a talent. And I said, does it pay your bills? Well, yeah. What do you have? What talent do you have that pays money?
I'm definitely a choreographer and dancer
Where?
all over the world. I've been all over.
Yeah, this is exactly why Kevin was so good at what he did. From being able to detect that she had someone else in that house with her, which we know is probably a roommate, and that recruitment job that she claimed was paying her so well was not actually her main source of income, but that dancing job was actually what was paying her bills. And to be fair, I don't even think he was convinced by that too. And honestly, listen, if Kevin wasn't an image consultant, he would have made an excellent attorney. His attention to body language and detail is quite impressive.
But aside from that, like you're like I'm getting where you're going, but like at the same time you're like going back to the same subject of boss chick. I know what it is because I've been there before. I've been juggling whether a 9 to 5 or creativity is something that is good for the soul, whether it's good either or. So I'm like, okay, so back to like that. I was like, okay, so I'm like thinking in my head, like boss chick or side chick is more like, okay, like either one. I'm more like, I'm just getting to the subject of like, what was the point of like saying all that? I guess because I'm like lost. I'm like that whole thing.
Yeah, you're just babbling. You're just babbling. Bosses don't babble.
Mm. Okay.
But
Okay, going back to the point. Kevin Samuels was making the distinction between women who think they are bosses and actually her specific situation. He's really highlighting the flaws in that statement, right? A lot of people say they're bosses in part because they've gotten it from music. Rick Ross has a song saying, I'm a boss, you know, and, people start feeling themselves and they say these things. And what he's trying to point out is that it's hard for any two people to go into a relationship where roles aren't established. If someone's coming in, a man, and he's expecting a helpmate, i.e., a partner, someone who's going to help him move towards the vision that God put on the inside of him. And you're getting somebody who's coming into that relationship with the mindset of a boss, where he defined a boss as being somebody who's the head of an organization, who's essentially taking charge of the livelihood of others. He's defined that what she thinks a boss isn't what it actually is. And so the fact that that distinction wasn't made out, he just allowed her to talk out why she feels she's a boss. And it's really just kind of exposing how there's a disconnect in her mind. And you're starting to see how he's kind of trying to level set her and kind of get a reset there to kind of humble her a little bit to say, listen, you got to change this mindset because this mindset's not serving you. It's not serving what your interest in finding someone, because for a lot of people, you are going to come across as a bit pompous, foolish, mature, not really the type that people want to align with and be in a relationship with, if you're coming into the mindset that way. That's not to say you can't, you know, think highly of yourself. I think there's a part of it where I think she's trying to say that she thinks highly of herself. She's accomplished a lot at a very young age and without, much on the education standpoint. But at the same time, there's a way to say that without taking the position that you're this boss. And you could tell that shift happened with Kevin when he's like, okay, let's go there. He was trying to handle her with kid gloves at first. And then it seemed like he got to a point where he's like, look, let me just really anchor you a bit because you're on cloud nine. You're talking crazy. And that's what you're starting to see. The patience and the tolerance for the way she's talking is diminishing. So he's about to get raw.
You danced you've choreographed dances all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And you're a recruiter in a corporate job in New York City at 26 years old. This is what becomes of the boss chicks, folks. I don't get it. I really don't get it.
It's just like, for right now, that's what it is. Not saying that that's who I am forever. I feel like you're tapped because like you don't get like 2021 realness.
Yeah, ma'am. You don't know what the fuck you're talking
That
about.
like
You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You're just
people
babbling.
grow when people.
No, you don't. No. This is
grow
what.
into
And thank you.
things
This is
that
what I
other
mean. These
people want
creatives.
for
These
themselves. You're like saying, what are you
These
right now?
These creatives.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I just
Mm-hmm.
let you talk. And don't get upset that you made yourself sound crazy.
Because like
What don't I get? What don't I get? No,
like,
I
it's not
let you
who I
speak. I
am.
let you
It's not who
speak.
I am,
I
but it
let you.
was a bullshit
Don't overtalk me.
culture.
Don't overtalk me. I let you speak. I let you try to put your best foot forward and say what it is you are. And I'm sorry, man. You sound crazy to me. I got a corporate job and I'm a choreographer and I'm a boss chick and I'm this and that. I got talents to pay the bills and I'm such and so forth. And everybody's like, this chick got a bonnet on her head and a mouth and a mind full of marbles.
Do you want to see like my?
I don't really.
Like,
I just said you got a bonnet on your head. You got on Instagram as a boss chick with 11,000 people watching with a bonnet on your head. Ain't nothing boss about that.
He said there's nothing boss about that. The man got a point. I do believe that when you are in a position of leadership, you understand the optics of things. You have to look the part in a way, right? You have to look like you belong in that position in a way, right? And how you carry yourself does matter. And it's true. A lot of people are a little too lax in the ways that they present themselves to the public. The one thing I would say about that, not to take anybody's individuality away, but the one thing I would say about that is we do have to be mindful about the perception and the impression that we leave people in, that we leave on people. You only have one time to make a first impression. That is a fact. And if somebody's first impression of you is, she gives me lax, young, immature type of energy, or that impression, not someone that seems responsible, then that is hard for you to disprove people differently, for them to see you differently. Most people in the positions of authority have to manage a fine line so that they can A, garner the respect of the people who's supposed to be following them, and B, that they can project an image of someone who is accomplished and who is doing something so that other people on similar levels can align themselves, align their brand with that person, right? So if I'm a brand and you lead an organization and I like how you carry yourself, I'm going to align myself because it's in alignment with my brand. But if I'm a brand and you carry yourself in a manner that goes against the standard of my brand, you how you carry yourself is something that garners more criticism than it garners praise. Then that impression is then passed on to whoever's partnered with you, whoever's standing next to you. So if I'm a brand, I get a brand ambassador, and let's just say it's an athlete, and the athlete is winning. So his sort of mantra is that of a champion. So me being a brand, I don't know, Nike, and you being a player like LeBron, right? Champion, highly touted athlete, well respected. The brand wants to be in alignment with the person, with the figure. If the brand, Nike, has a talent or a person or organization that's aligned with it that does not live up to the standards of the brand or the image of the brand, and I'll use Ray Rice as an example. Here's a great championship football player, played with the Ravens, and there was a video of him getting into an altercation with his then girlfriend, eventually wife, but he got into a scuffle with her in the elevator, knocked her out. Brand doesn't want the bad publicity that comes from that particular brand ambassador, so they're going to disconnect themselves from it. Again, it's the impression that you leave people with that matters most. So a person who really does have a boss mindset moves as if the way I carry myself could cost me a deal, a future deal, or it could gain me a deal. And he's pointing out, hey, miss, there's 11,000 people watching you live on national, social media, and you have a bonnet in your head, you're slouched over, the way you're carrying yourself is in a way that this isn't something you take serious. And now people are watching how you're carrying yourself. And in a way, it doesn't give them the impression that you're a boss. It just gives them the impression that you're capping, which is you're inflating your self-worth for the sake of, boosting your ego. But in actuality, they can't see any valid reasons for why people would think that of you. So, I think that's where he's going with it.
I'm not trying too hard. What is this like? That's not. What do I try too hard?
Modern boss chicks, people. This is what I hear most of the time when I hear this boss chick babble. Boss chick babble. Boss chick babble. You got a lot to say about nothing. I'm like, if you had to sit down and talk to somebody and say, okay, in the next 10 years, where are you going to be professionally?
Mm-hmm. You don't know that. You don't know nothing.
No, I know me. I'm talking about you. It's clear that you don't know anything. I'm asking you, do you know you don't know anything?
Do I know?
Yeah, do you know?
I know exactly.
Okay, where are you going to be in the next 10 years?
That I don't need to share with you because I'm going to show it in my life existence.
Right. Kick freaking rocks. Boss chick babble. You can't make this shit up, man. And you wonder why women who think like this become side chicks. Because what did I say was the common denominator with boss chicks who become side chicks? Come on, class. What did I say the common thread was with women who move this way? What was the word? 3 letters, starts with an E, ends with an O. What did I say was the common word? Come on, somebody give it to me.
Ego.
Starts with an E, ends with an O. That's right, ego. Ego. Now, most people with a high school education, and if we believe you, a recruiting job, okay, I guess it's possible, not probable. Possible, but not probable that you were getting paid I know recruiters. And it takes a little bit more than just a personality to be a recruiter. And the questions I'm asking her, she didn't even know. Do you have staff? Yes. What staff? Do you understand what I mean? Why so many women go from boss chick to side chick? Because, ladies, you spend so much time in this fantasy that you're a boss and you're the boss of nothing. You got dreams. And then you look up and you are 30 years old and you're moving at 30 like you still are a teenager. Like it or not, when men keep asking, what do you bring to the table? Guys are asking, what can you be in my life? And so many of these women just are wanting to come to a man so a man can do something for them. Well, you just can't take the boss chick mentality home. So okay, I think let me pin this comment. Let's talk about this. So Track Baby says, I think it's possible to be a successful woman and someone who can go home and play her role as a wife. I just don't think you can take the boss chick mentality home. Well, those two things are different. Most women who are successful women don't call themselves boss chicks. I know a shit ton of successful women. I don't deal with women who are empty-headed, but I don't know any of these women who are extremely successful who call themselves boss chicks, boss bitches. What I'm saying is, you ladies, these particular women, this is a mindset. Okay? So, and it's a mindset that has a lot to do with ego. I want you to, don't believe me. Go listen to, anytime you hear somebody on social media, a woman on social media describing herself as a boss chick, and inevitably she is going to likely have a list of requirements and superficial things that she wants from a man. And all right, and here's the thing. Fine. Everything you want from a man, what is he going to get from you?
Had to pause right here just to interject. Kevin Samuels is 1000% correct on every point he's making here. Right? The boss chick mentality is this feminist mindset that somehow elevates the status of a woman within the relationship, where a woman can feel like she can place demands and not necessarily be suited to help. So the value, her perceived value, is never properly communicated, other than, the standard things that you would expect in a relationship. Intimacy, maybe she's fun, good time. But we're talking about doing life with someone, being in a relationship. It takes more than good times for a relationship to work. So what he's simply saying is that mentality has become somewhat of a killer to relationships. And the type of people who incorporate that mentality as the prerequisite for dating end up having other requirements. Like, then they'll have a list, what they say he's calling a materialistic list. Now, I've experienced that before. I've experienced it where, it's just a wish list of things that people want without, sort of thinking through what their counterpart might want and having solutions for that. So in a way, it shows where it's hard to negotiate or reason with a person who thinks like that. It's a fair point. It's a valid point.
And if you spent little to no time figuring out who men are, what the kind of men you want from a woman, how are you going to be any use to these guys? That's my point. So don't get it confused that being a boss chick can't be a successful woman. No, I'm not saying that. Let's get it. Let's also ask this question. Boss chick to side chick because of ego. It's a mindset. I don't know many a man who wants to deal with a boss chick because of the ego.
So that's the end of the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. And if you haven't, please make sure to check out Kevin's channel, where he has 800 plus worth of videos that you don't want to miss out on.
Okay. Well, the young lady, I'm not sure what her channel was. She was responding to this. It was a very insightful, and she had some great advice too. I wanted to incorporate what she was saying just so that people can get a female mind's perspective on what Kevin was saying, because I may interpret it one way, someone else may interpret it another way. It's always good to hear those 2 points, those 2 different points of views together. That being said, yeah, this is something in our community we do need to address. Is we have some conflicting thought patterns, right? You're supposed to think collectively in a relationship. You think about how will this decision affect us? And our women at times are encouraged to think independently. How am I supposed to preserve myself? Independent thinking versus collective thinking all sometimes clashes. Person who wants to self-preserve is not thinking about the well-being of the group. Sometimes for the group to move ahead, i.e. the group referring to you, your partner, and your family, children, offspring, things of that nature, it requires some sort of compromise on the part of all parties. And if you're independent minded and you only are mindful of just your selfish ambitions, selfish wants, self-preservation, then in a way it's going to alienate other members in the group. And that's going to affect how they see you, what they think of you, whether or not they can work with you, things of that nature. So these are just things that we ought to keep in mind. Again, my point of view isn't the end all. There's a plethora of different point of views out there. I just, to me, just think that there's more to it. And, you know, the more open we are to hearing different perspectives, the better informed we will be when it comes to making decisions on certain things. So that's it for me for today's Kevin Samuels reaction video. We encourage those who are not already subscribed to this channel to like and subscribe and join the Intercourse family. You know, we're seeking to have conversation. Your input definitely matters. So join the family and let's definitely discuss and learn more. All right. Till next time.